Today I'm moving straight to the Queen's Palace, and you might be thinking I'm about to show you a Rolls Royce or a Bentley, but it's rather a Range Rover. And this Range Rover sits in the middle of the Evoque and the Sport SUV. I choose to call it a mid-compact SUV, the Range Rover Velar.
Can't feel no better.
So the Range Rover Velar actually came out in 2018, and it has received several updates to date. And this car is about $70,000. So if you have the cash, you can bring it and then we'll give this car to you. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. It's CLARKCARSGH on YouTube. And then on Instagram, it's CLARKCARSGH, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere. Make sure you turn your bell notifications on so that anytime we make an upload, you would know. I am Amos Clark, and you are watching CLARKCARSGH. In any other day, if you have a nice car at home that you want us to review, you can send us an email in the description. Or if you're a showroom owner or anyone who wants us to review their car, they can contact us and then we'll come and do everything for you. So if you want to buy any car for that matter, don't forget to holler CLARKCARSGH on Twitter, and all the links will be in the description. The front of this car really looks good because you have this honeycomb mesh here as a grille. You have Range Rover boldly written here. It's very big, so it shows in your face. And then you have this black trim also here. You have your sensors here, one for the anti-collision, lane keep assist, all here. And then you have rear vents also in here, which helps the radiator to also pull out some heat and then cool the engine. You also have rear vents here, which improve airflow and then reduce drag. And I like this black trim also used here. It looks like a front splitter, but it's actually there for sure. You have these ones here. This one actually pops up and clean the lights when you go off-roading, and then you find it on your lights. And this lights here is the best that I've seen on this SUV market, because you have this LED design here, and then you pay attention to the details inside here, which I'll turn the lights on later for you to know. You have these is it kind of a rhombus or a rectangle light made here, and then you have this light bar which goes across this side, and then your turn signals also here. That is very brilliant. At the side of the Velar, you can see Range Rover exhibiting their good craftsmanship. You have this bit of a minimalistic design here. You have minimal door gaps, and then I love this black trim that is used here. It makes the car look a little bit sporty. You also have black used at the door, and then the side skirts, which also makes it a little bit sporty. You have these rims here, which starts from 18 to these 22s. Looking at the Velar, the side that really caught my attention was the back. You know, they have this kind of a design here which makes the car look very big and muscular, but it's not really that roomy inside. It's just because of the design. And then you have these cool LED tail lights here with a little bit of detailing here. You have Range Rover still written here with this black trim here. You have the Velar written here, and this being the start of the model, you have the P20S also written here. You have this cool black trim used here to make the bumper, and then you have your sensors all here for the anti-collision and the others. You also have, yeah, of course, the big brand, the Land Rover written here, and then you have your also 10 lights, and then your back brake lights also here. Not forgetting the big spoiler. I don't know how Land Rover managed to put this LED trim inside, but it really looks cool. It's a cool effect that they added. And then you have the wiper inside. Inside the Velar, you have tons of luxury in this car. You have leather all around. Especially you have this soft leather, which I really like at these places. but the ones on the doors are very hard. Sometimes feels very plasticky, especially down here where the door beams are. It's not something that I would really recommend for someone to option in this car. And then you have gloss black all over the infotainment and the center console. It's very nice, but I'm not a fan of gloss black because it picks fingerprints easily and then also dents very easily. You know, our towns are full of dust, sorry to say, but you know, you should option the different one for this car. At the driver's seat, you have this steering wheel here, which is covered with leather, and then you have buttons here to also control the driver's cluster. And as I said, you have gloss black all over this car, and then you can see fingerprints and dirt all over this place. And then I don't really like the place where the start engine is. It feels like you have to cramp your hand inside the steering wheel before you get there, which is a bit annoying. And then you have 12.1 inch display for your drivers, which has these manual speedometers, and then you have a digital small one inside which shows your odometer and then your fuel tank. And then you have this one which records your RPM, so very clever one. And then you have vents here to also cool the driver. You have a speaker here so that the driver too can enjoy some sound systems. And then the most important one, you have shift paddles here which are plasticky, which is also cool. And then you have seat memory seats for your driver, so depending on anyone who wants to sit here, they can customize their own and save it for later. For the infotainment, you have this 10.1 inch display here, and then you can connect your phone via Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. You can also save your contacts and make voice calls and voice commands through the infotainment. You have also cameras here, which this one just shows a rear view. I don't know why, but you also have Bluetooth connectivity, but the screen is a little bit laggy. It's not so bad, but you know, it's average, and then also uses more functions here. The screen here is basically for the climate and the vehicle overall control. So you have FM radio here, which you can toggle through using these buttons here. Then you have your mute and then unmute here. You also have your AC connections here, which you can turn off. It's a little bit disappointing that it's touch screen, because sometimes when you are driving it will be a little bit difficult to use, but you can use this one to control the temperature settings and also your vehicle, which you have here. And then you can select your drive mode. You have the eco, this is the dynamic. You have the eco, you have the comfort, you have grass, gravel, you have mud ruts, and you also have sand program. So depending on the drive terrain that you wish to go through, you can set this car up, because this car is also good for off-roading because it's a Land Rover, so you have several options to choose from. This is one of the fancy things that Range Rover added and then made this car a huge success in the design, because you have this gear knob here which automatically goes down when you turn the car off, and then it comes up when you turn the car on. Then you just toggle by pressing the brake and then turning it to the reverse, neutral, drive, or the sports. One thing I really love about cars these days are, you know, people want to know how fresh they look in their fancy car. So when you bring the visor down, mostly they have a mirror here so that you can look at your ugly faces, not like mine. I'm so beautiful. And when it's in the night, then people still want to look at their faces. You have this thing that you pull or you bring up here, and then automatically the light turns on. That is a very cool feature that I really love. So it's very good for looking at yourself in the night or trying to find something up there, and then when you close it back, it turns off. But one disappointing thing is the visor doesn't extend, so if you have the sun scorching your apantine, it's very difficult to, you know, get it off. Obviously, being a Range Rover, you always have a higher ride height, and then you have electronically powered steering column. So you just press this, you know, you see my seat is, my steer is moving to the position that will fit you and your, you know, your 5'2" inch height. One cool feature in this Land Rover is, because this is a Range Rover, it can be used for off-roading. So you have cameras all over this side, which helps to detect the kind of terrain that you're on. So selecting it on your driving system makes the camera determine which terrain you are on, and then adjust the suspension in a way to give you the maximum comfort. You have these buttons here to open this wide sunroof, which is a panoramic sunroof. I almost said Panamera, but if you have your fancy Velar and then you want to go out and chill with your guys, probably it might be you have a cold weather, so you might want to open your sunroof and enjoy the cool breeze. But you can't do this because mostly it's always summer in Africa, so you just have to pull your sunroof back because the sun is really scorchy. So you pull it back. And then we are good to go. Now let's get to the back seat and see how it is to keep your friends there. At the back of the Velar, it's a very comfortable seats we have here. They are made of leather and they are perforated, so you can option out ventilated and then, you know, cooled seating options. And then I'm not 6 foot. I'm 5 foot 10 tall, and then I have enough headroom. Even though we have the panoramic sunroof, it doesn't really eat into headspace. And then you have decent amount of knee room and toe room here. I'm a little comfortable here, and I can have a long range ride in this car. But the problem is this huge hump on the floor due to the transmission tunnel. You have plenty cool features at the back too. You have this airplane porch style that you can keep your books here, so your passenger can be reading their things. You have climate also here for them to feel the AC too, and then you only have 12-volt socket here, which is a little bit annoying because someone at the back who uses a smartphone can't really charge their phone here. And these here are going to be options that you have to, you know, pay extra for Land Rover to give you certain things. But you have lights here so that in the dark your passengers can also enjoy some, you know, reading. And then you have this porch style. Oh, this is so heavy. Correct metal used to make the door. This Velar was designed like a coupe, so this brings us to a limousine rear view because you have small amounts of, you know, windows to see what is at the back. So buying a stylish car, you also have to compromise for certain things. In terms of practicality, this car also has huge amounts of storage. So you have a cup holder here, which I didn't really bring a cup or bottle to show you, but you have enough to store it here. And then a boxy shaped compartment also here. And then you press this to open this compartment. This is a little bit, you know, shallow so that you can keep a coffee cup or something. Very good. And then you press it back and close it. You have storage compartments also here. And inside here you have a deep hole here, and then you have USB-A here and a 12-volt socket. You can also connect a micro SIM so that you can use a hotspot in this car. And I like the fact that this compartment is lined with felt, so if you have something that is a little bit shaky here, you can still move around in sand in silence. The glove box is very disgusting because it's made of plastic, because your passenger will be sitting here and the knee might be hitting there and then it wouldn't feel comfortable. But when you open it up, you have a decent amount of storage there, and then I like the fact that you have felt inside, so completely soundproof. This is actually the Velar P250S, and it's actually a base model, so you don't really get fuel loading here, but your passengers get to use these cup holders at the back of the middle seat, which is a little bit annoying because probably someone might want to buy something long and put it in their Velar. And you have these baby isofix here, which is removable, but I don't think this is ideal because someone might, you know, lose this, and then this place will be there showing like, so you can fix your baby seats here, very easy to use. As I already said, buying a stylish car, that means you have to compromise on certain things. So let's check the boot and see if Range Rover made any deductions to our boot space. Obviously, being a luxury car, you get everything electronic. You have an electronic tailgate, so it opens up for you. And when it opens up, you have about 673 liters to store your goods. And then you have this load cover here to prevent dust from entering your items. Maybe you might have white teas or food inside there, so this thing serves as, you know, a prevention. And then you have stuff plates here to also prevent you from scratching your car and your plastic bits here. Inside here you have a bit of storage here. This is a compartment that you don't have to touch, and then you have lights in here to also brighten things for you so that you can put things when it's in the dark. And then you have hooks here to also hang your items. There are two of them, a 12-volt socket also here to charge other items. And then basically that is all you get from this one. To close back the boot, definitely electronic. You just press this one and automatically close this for you. Let's see if it's a soft close. Velar has several tech features. So once you turn on the car, you don't even need to turn on the car. You just press the unlock button, and then your mirrors pops up for you, and your handles too pops out for you. That is a very cool feature. And then you pop it up and open it. Once you open, you see the door almost hit me. This is a very heavy door. I don't know how they managed to do this, but it's really heavy. And then once you enter, you are greeted with Range Rover here, like any other luxury car. You have your door mats, floor mats, which I have made them dirty, you know. And then you have several ways of adjusting the seats. Do I need to turn on the car before? So there are several ways of adjusting the seat. You have lumbar support too, and then shamefully you don't have a thigh and calf support, but you can recline and decline your seats. You can see I'm going down and up. Oh. So you can see my seat is going up and down, electronically adjusted. That is very clever. One cool feature of the Velar is how good the soundproofing is. So I'm actually going to give you a gist of how this feels. So I'm going to open the two front windows, and then you hear how noisy it is outside, and then you check the difference also inside. I hope you can hear. The women are really discussing concern things. But let me push it up, and then very silent. Thank you, Range Rover. This is the engine bay of the Range Rover Velar, and this being the P250S, that is the start of the lineup. You get a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder engine which pumps out over 252 horsepower and about 500 Newton meters of torque. You can also choose the 3.0 liter, either a diesel or a petrol, which gives you about 390 horsepower. And then they also have a big V8 which gives about 500 horsepower, but you should know fuel is very expensive nowadays, so if you don't really care about fuel consumption, you can choose that V8 and then pay. This car is mated to an 8-speed automatic gearbox, and then as you already witnessed from the inside, you have different kinds of drive modes. Since this car can be an off-roader, you have the standard gravels and anything that you can choose, and then the camera detects your terrain and then controls the suspension for you. And then you have air suspension as standard, but per the reviews I watched, people were saying this car, because it's a little bit heavy and long, they tune the suspension to be a little bit firmer. So before I drive this car, I can't really tell you how it is to actually feel on the road. Comparing this to the market, we have the X3, the GLC, the Volvo XC60, and probably the Genesis GV70. In terms of design, I think this looks cooler than the BMW X3, but in terms of quality and overall drive performance, probably I would have to drive both on the same terrain and then decide. But if you really want to compare it to the X3, you can watch our full in-depth review of that car on our channel. It's still there. And then you have to subscribe to the channel so that we can bring you more details and probably most every car that you could ever wished for. Also, if you want to buy any car, make sure you holler CLARKCARSGH on all the platforms, and they will get back to you. Peace out.